And I'm off the stage.
Well, with that, let's welcome the man of the hour. Here is Robinson Cano and General Manager Jackson Winston. Well, guys, this is awfully exciting. And Jack, we're going to talk with you a little bit first because we know that you got to dash off to some other things of great importance. We had a chance to listen and hear the press conference, so we know that Robbie's ready to cover GQ. But past that, as you've said before, and you referenced it in the press conference, you don't often get a chance to bring in a guy of Robinson's impact. But it's a lot more than just a guy who can put up good stats. As Robinson has referenced, this really is a family field here in Seattle. And in dealing with Robinson, I have to imagine you've had a chance to really feel that he is a good fit, not just on the field, but also off the field for the Mariners.
I don't think there's any question about it. You know, he's, as I said, if you watch it here, that, you know, just, you feel warmth with people sometimes when you're able to spend a little bit of time with them. And his sincerity, and I think his, obviously, desire to sign this contract were terrific, but to bring him here and spend a little bit of time with him like we did, get to know each other a lot better. One of the questions that he had too, that I think we answered well, was, am I going to be part of this process? Am I going to be part of this community? Am I going to engage with you on a lot of different fronts? And all those answers were yes, yes, and yes. Not because we wanted him here only, but because he is part of this family. He will come here and ingratiate himself in this community with his teammates, and I think that through the whole conversation, that was a very, very strong desire of his. And I think that he got from us that that's going to happen.
One of the things, Jack, you and I talked about a little bit before a spring training game in Peoria this past season was how Felix, in so many ways, is a general manager's dream, because here's a guy who every year has a chance to win a Cy Young, to be the best at his position. But off the field, this is a guy who you really want in your community. When you hear Robinson say things like he wants to retire as a Mariner, and this is before he's even stepped on the field at Safeco, I have to imagine that when you talk about in the press conferences you did, investing in a guy for 10 years, and you put in all the research and the numbers and everything else that goes along with it, but knowing a guy that is going to be so committed on the field, off the field, in the community, that's one of those little X factors, one of those little things that you can check off that you probably can't with everybody.
Yeah, it's true. We have a good person here. I mean, bottom line, no matter how you shake it, you've got a very sincere, very genuine person. This community loves Felix Hernandez, they should. You know, what he's done, what he means, how he handles himself. So we have the same personality here. We have a guy that is a genuine guy. And I think that all of you are going to really, really enjoy him. Not for his, certainly for his performance on the field, which will speak for itself. But you're going to, because of who he is, the fabric that he's made of is just pretty special.
Well, this is no doubt a date on the Mariners' timeline in this franchise's history that's going to be remembered for a long, long time. Jack, thank you for all of your hard work, your staff's hard work. We all know there's a lot that goes into this that we don't even know about, all the hard work during the season, during the off season. So thank you for all this and helping to bring Robinson here to the Pacific Northwest. And we know you've got to scurry off, but Jack, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So Robinson, is this your first interview today? Well, you might need to warm up. That's the only thing.
This is 101 today.
101. Okay, fantastic. Well, you look fresh as can be. Oh, what's it been like so far for you here in Seattle?
I mean, it's been great. I've been praised by the fans, the organization. You know, it can't be more happier than this.
When you take a look at coming from New York, where you spent 9 seasons on the East Coast, now you're coming all the way here to the Pacific Northwest, a completely different franchise, obviously. One thing that you've really seemed to embrace is your role, and you referenced it some of the press conference, but your role as a leader on this team. And I know when we had a chance to talk a little bit earlier today, you mentioned how you're not necessarily a vocal guy, but how your door is always open for a Mariners team that really obviously has a lot of young players. How do you see your role this season helping to mentor in the right way at the right time with some of those guys?
Well, yeah, that's my main role. Sometimes no matter what you do but what your numbers are if you're not lead by example, if you're not be a leader in the clubhouse. I would say maybe be a leader, help the young kids, and teach them all the things that I went through when I was in New York, all the things that I learned from the superstar, and pass it to them. I would say that's what I want to help us to win games and get better through the season, through the year, and teach them that no matter what team you have, you always gotta go out there and play hard and stay positive. Just go out there and win games.
You know, in football, they talk a lot of times about like a coaching tree, right? How one head coach then has an assistant who goes off and becomes a head coach. Well, this past season, it was so much fun to hear Raul Ibanez talk to some of the younger guys and saying, these are things that Edgar Martinez taught me. Who are some of the guys that have taught you, which will then continue that lineage down to future and current Mariners today?
Well, it was like 4 guys that played big role in my career. It was Jeter, A-Rod, Posada, and Mariano. And those guys, they was always there for me. Anytime I have a question, I needed advice, and sometimes they not even wait until I ask them. Sometimes they call me, okay, you have to do this. This is not gonna help you in the long term, and that's not right. You know what I mean? That's what you want as a teammate. You want, no matter if you're a veteran player or young kid, you want your teammates to tell you what is wrong so you can get better. Not only as a player, but as a person to go about.
What is it for everybody who lives here in Seattle and calls this place home, and we all love it so much, when you've had a chance to come to Seattle each year as a member of the Yankees, what are some of the things that you really loved about the city and your chance to kind of walk around town before you come to the ballpark?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing in the city, that this city can be able to walk around and, experience all the stores, restaurants, I mean, the fans. I mean, it's sort of like good assignment. It's not a city you just go, let's go play baseball. It's a city that you enjoy coming in and, be able to walk around and spend time, not only with your team or your family, but also for the fans of Seattle.
One thing that was talked about a little bit earlier today was your role with the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. You won the MVP of that. The Dominican Republic won the whole thing. As a guy who's had so much success in Major League Baseball, you go there in the WBC, the whole world is watching. How did that really help to shape the Robinson Cano that played this past season, and that will help to shape the Robinson Cano that we'll see here in Seattle?
Well, I always say things happen for a reason. I mean, we ended up going to that WBC, as everybody knows, was my last year of my contract. I wasn't supposed to go, but it's first I got to take care of my career, but I decided, I love my country, I want to get a championship, so, I'm going to take my risk and go there. And I went, and the good things, we all were leader. I mean, we all decide have one goal is win it all. No matter whatever it takes. Well, we have Henry, Reyes, and Ibar. All of them play shortstop. So they had to rotate. One play shortstop, one play third base or DH. I mean, that was the hard part. But the good thing was the good chemistry that we had in there. How we went about our business and have fun. That's what we do. Just have fun all day. No matter if we're down or never put our head down and keep fighting.
Everyone in this room knows how historic of a day this is, and how you coming here to Seattle with the group of young talent that's already here, and the acquisitions that Jack and his crew have already made and are continuing to make, no doubt. What message would you have for the fans for what you're hoping to be a part of here in Seattle? Because everyone in this room knows some really great glory years in Seattle Mariners baseball, and eager to have that come back.
Well, the only thing that I can tell the fans is it's gonna take time, but we're gonna build a championship team.
Robinson Cano, welcome to Seattle. Thanks for all the time. We can't wait to watch you play.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you everyone for coming out. We know for some of you it was on short notice to brave the rain and everything else. This is a day that we'll all remember for a long, long time. We look forward to seeing you out here at Safeco Field in April. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
I said, did you want this next?
Yeah.